Hello, everyone. I am Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards, independent Steppin' Up demonstrator coming to you from Iowa. I feel like I'm on the beach with my wind-blown hair, but it's actually because we have a two-in-one heater and air conditioner up in the high on the wall, and it was on, and it has just shut off. So that is good. Anyway, how is everyone? Good to see you. It is Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central, and it's time for my weekly video. Today, we're going to be looking at an online exclusive. That just means you won't find it in the catalog, but you will find it in my online store, and it's called the Hearts of Elegance. And I used this stamp set, the stamp set and the dies for my January monthly card class, which has already been sent out, but I wanted to use it again. Plus, I'm going to make 2 cards today, and we're going to use the same bundle, but the first card is not going to have any designer series paper. The second card, we're going to use some new designer series paper from our new spring mini catalog. And then we will have barn chats, which is a new little segment feature that I've added a couple weeks ago. You can ask me some questions. Now today, this is being recorded, so because I'm have some appointments, so I'm not here live with you today, but I know a lot of you watch my replays anyway. But if you have any questions, you can just add those in the chat, and I will answer them next Tuesday when I am live. But I will share, because I have 3 things going on in the Rustic Barn studio that I want to share with you. And we'll do that during Barn Chats, which is a little more informal get together at the end of our crafting session. All right. Let me turn the camera down and let me start crafting. Welcome everyone, and if you haven't, if you're watching this on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button, click that bell, and you'll be notified when I upload videos. If you're watching this on Facebook, give me a like, thumbs up, and I love reading all your comments, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. All right, let's get this crafting session started. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I am using the Heart of Elegance stamp set and dies. There's also paper, the Marbled Elegance, that matches this, but as I am taping this right now, the designer series paper is not available, but it will be back in, and we're not going to be using that today. But I really like this stamp set. You have to and from, kiss, hug, be mine, sending lots of love, love you, my heart belongs to you, happy Valentine's Day, and some leaves and a flower. So that's what we're going to be using. And then the Hearts of Elegant dies, you have actually 2 dies that you can just cut out, and then you have 3 more larger dies here. We're going to be using this one. I like this because it has a little design in there. And then there's more. We also have this 2 large hearts. And then we have dies that will cut out the images, the flower and the leaves from the stamp set. And I'll have information with the item numbers in the description. All right, well, let's go ahead. We're going to start with Flirty Flamingo, and this is cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And let me show you the card if you would like to see the card. I apologize for that noise. That was my heater, but I've taken care of that. All right, so here is the card, My Heart Belongs to You. And so this is what we're going to make. And I don't know if you can see the little splatters, but I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. We're also using a So Swirly embossing folder along with Greetings of the Season to cut out this label. You can use any embossing folder that you have. This is the So Swirly embossing folder. It's one of our large 6-inch, and it is not a 3D embossing folder. And then the Greetings of the Season dies. Again, you could use a punch, but I really like the Greetings of the Season because it has all of these labels and they're different sizes. So I've really been using the Greetings of the Season dies a lot in my crafting. Okay, well, let's go ahead and bring that Flirty Flamingo back in. And then it's, like I said, it's 4 1/4 by 11. And then we scored it in half, which is 5 1/2. And then I'm just going to use my bone folder. So I'm going to bring in a piece of Flirty Flamingo, and this is 3 1/2 by 4 1/2. And then I am going to emboss it with the So Swirly. So I'm just going to place it right in here, and you can place it wherever you want. And make sure I have that logo sign up and the folded side, and then go through the cut and emboss machine, and like magic, here we have the Flirty Flamingo cardstock layer embossed. Then I'm going to bring in our trimmer, and we are going to put this in on the long side, which would be the 4 1/2 side, and then we're going to cut this at 1 1/2. And then I'm going to slide it over, and I'm going to cut it at 1 1/2. And then we will have 3 pieces that are 1 1/2 inches. Trimmer out of the way. And then I'm going to bring in Basic White. The Basic White layer is 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping on this. And I'm going to bring in Melon Mambo, just for a little contrast. And I'm going to bring this stamp from the stamp set, so we'll ink this up. And I'm going to stamp it right here at the bottom. And I think I'm going to make this a Valentine's Day card. So I'm going to grab the stamp set, and we're going to pull out Happy Valentine's Day, because I don't think I have that. But let's go ahead and make this into a Valentine's Day card. Now, you wouldn't have to put anything there. You could just leave it like it is. Let's see. Grab a block. So I like using my grid paper to line up my stamps, but then you have to hold your block straight in order to get the stamp straight, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do the same. We could change it, the ink, but I'm just going to go ahead and use Melon Mambo and make it a Valentine's Day card. Okay. And we do not need this color, but we do need a Memento Black. So I'm going to bring our Memento Black in, lay that aside, and I'm going to bring in a label that I have already die cut from the Greetings of the Season, and we're going to stamp My Heart Belongs to You. So I'm going to bring in My Heart Belongs to You, and we will ink this up in Memento Black, and you can just barely, but you can get this on the label. My heart belongs to you. All right, let's go ahead and bring our card base back, and then we're going to go ahead and add this inside our card base. So I'm going to take my adhesive. I'm going to go around all the sides. I'm not going to go right to the edge because our adhesive it'll spread a little bit, and I don't want it to get on the cardstock, on the Flirty Flamingo cardstock. I do want it to adhere from the basic white layer to the Flirty Flamingo, but I don't want it to go over on the sides. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring in our pieces that we cut, and we're just going to kind of just maybe overlap them a little bit, kind of just decide how we want to place them. I think that's going to be fine. So I'm going to start with this first one, and I am just going to add adhesive. Maybe. There we go. So we're going to add that. About right there. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to overlap it a little bit, kind of like that, I think. I'll add some adhesive on the back. And again, we will just kind of overlap it. I'm going to leave this up a little bit because I think I'm going to tuck this under. So I think I'm going to tuck it under like that. So let me go ahead and add some adhesive, but you can just put these on here however you want. I'm just kind of doing it like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, and then I've taken this heart and I've already die cut Melon Mambo heart, and even though it has a design, there is a solid piece of cardstock right here. So when you turn it over, that is where you want to add your glue dots or your dimensionals. Okay, so we are going to add some dimensionals. And I'm just going to put one here. You could use, the mini might work a little bit better, but I think this will be fine. So I'm just going to add 3 right like that. And while we have the dimensionals out, we're also going to add some dimensionals to our sentiment die cut label. And we're going to add this label, but before we do, I'm going to bring in some gold twisted thread, and we are going to just kind of loop it, make a loop like this, and then a loop like this. Don't need that. Okay, and I'm going to start just a little bit more here. So we're going to make a loop, and then I'm going to loop it back, and I want to have this thread here, and then I want to have some here. So then I'm going to grab my snips, just like that, and then I'm going to get just a little piece of tape. Maybe. And I'm going to kind of secure that. If I had my silicone craft sheet handy, which I usually do, I see it now, but I think we're gonna get this done, maybe. Okay, and then I can just kind of wrap it around there, and if you want to take your scissors and just cut off that extra tape there, you can. And then I am going to stick this right here on the dimensional, just like that, but I really kind of want it at an angle. So let's take that off, and I am going to grab my silicone craft sheet. What I like about our silicone craft sheet is that the stickiness stays on here, and you can just rub it off when it dries. So I want it kind of like this. So I want it kind of at an angle, and then I'm going to put this right like that. Okay, and then I can move that, and I can put this right about here. And then I can bring my snips in. And maybe we want to cut this a little bit shorter, and you can do that. And now we're ready to add our heart. Now on the sample card, I added this, I'm going to add some splatter, but I did that before I decorated. But I'm going to go ahead and add the splatter now that I'm finished. And how I'm going to do that is that I'm going to bring in the dark flirty flamingo, and you have two tips here. So I'm going to use the one that looks more like a brush. And I'm going to take the top off, and then I'm just going to flick it. So I'm just going to take the cap, and then I'm just going to give it a little splatter. And then we're going to bring in some adhesive hearts. Because this is a Valentine's Day card, right? So we need lots of hearts. Lots of hearts. And so we're going to put one right here. We're going to add one up here. And we are going to add, I don't think I want to put one there because I don't want to cover up my belong, but I think that's fine. And you could also put tie a bow and then put it over on the edge here if you wanted to also. So here is our first card. My heart belongs to you. Happy Valentine's Day. And then in my sample, just kind of give you what I did. I did the splatter, but I did it before I added the heart and before I added the label. So you might like this where the splatter is on the label, but then you might like this one where you don't have any splatter on the sentiment label, but you do have it on the card base. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to use the same stamp set, but we're going to be using Lemon Lolly, and we're going to be using some Designer Series paper from our new Spring Mini Catalog. So let me get this lined up. And this comes from a suite called Delightful Wishes. It's on page 34, 35. There is a stamp. It's a suite collection. We're not using the stamp set, but we are using this beautiful paper, which is called Floral Delight. Floral Delight. And so it's a Floral Delight suite. And so here is the paper we're going to be using. And it is simply gorgeous. It makes me think about spring and warm weather, which right now in January in Iowa, I like thinking about warmer weather. And this is the designer series paper that we're going to use. And designer series paper just means pattern paper. So we're going to use our same layout. Now I've already, so I cut the designer series paper that I just showed you. I cut that 3.5 by 4.5. And then I ran it through the So Swirly. I don't know if you can see that. I ran it through the embossing folder. And then I couldn't decide if I wanted to do that or if I wanted to just do the designer series paper without the embossing folder. So that is how it looks with the embossed. And then this is kind of how it looks without. I kind of like that embossed, but I think since we did our other one embossed, let's go ahead and do this and not emboss this, okay? But let's go ahead and bring in our basic white and our label to do some stamping. So this time we're going to be using Old Olive. And I'm going to bring that same heart in. We're going to ink this up. And we're going to stamp that right here in the lower right corner. And I'm not going to add any sentiment on the inside, but you could. So that's something that you could do. And but you have room to do some writing. So we will go ahead and add our card, our basic white layer. And the cardstock is Lemon Lolly. So the card base is Lemon Lolly. Such a pretty color of yellow. We also have Daffodil Delight, Crushed Curry. Okay, so let's go ahead and do stamping with our label. And for this one, we are going to use Sending Lots of Love. And I think we will go ahead and use Old Olive instead of Memento Black for our sentiment. So we'll just go ahead and ink this up. And this is a little bit smaller sentiment, so I can get it on this label easier than I could on the last card. That was My Heart Belongs to You. And you might want to still use the Memento Black because Memento Black does make it stand out a little bit more because it's a little darker. All right, so this time I've taken this die and I took Lemon Lolly cardstock and Old Olive, and I went ahead and die cut 2 hearts out. So, and let's see if I can get these kind of lined up here. All right, so I'm going to use the ones that are not embossed. And of course, you could use this side also. So that's one thing, but I am going to bring that craft sheet back in, because then I can just lay it over and I have something that I can add my adhesive to and not have to worry that it's going to get on my work surface. Plus, I have a little more control of the adhesive. All right, let's go ahead and angle this up like this. And then we're going to add this one next. So if you need some Valentine's Day cards, or this could even be a birthday card, I'm going to add that, overlap that right there. And we will see if we can tuck this under, because I seem to forget that I want to do that. And I kind of press that down, but we'll see. And I think I can do that. Just like that. Now, for this card, we are going to splatter, do our splatter technique before we add our hearts or our sentiment. Okay, and this time I'm going to be using Dark Daffodil Delight. I like to use just, a little, the dark when I do the splatter. This is Lemon Lolly, but I wanted, if I do Lemon Lolly and Lemon Lolly, it's not going to show up as much, and I wanted a little bit of a contrast. So again, I'm using that paintbrush, and I'm just taking this cap, and I'm just flicking. And, you can just decide how much that you want to add. So that's up to you. It just gives it a little bit of contrast, I guess is what I'm trying to say, or interest. I think interest is what I want to say. So it gives a little bit of interest with those splatters. And I don't know if you can, I think you can see those splatters in there. And then we are going to add this. I think this time we might have room that we're going to add our bow on the side here, where we didn't really have room because on the last card, because the sentiment was it was longer. So we'll just add 3, and while we have our dimensionals out, let's see, do we want to, yeah. Okay, I'm going to add dimensionals on the green. I think I'll put the green down first. So I am going to add, I think I can get by with 2 of those. So we'll take off the backings, and then we will add this about right here. And I'm going to put this right there. I think I'll put it right here. And then you wouldn't need to add the yellow, but we're going to add the yellow. And the reason I haven't put anything under there, I wanted to see how I was going to place it. And so here is already popped up from on the oat olive. So I'm just going to add some adhesive or maybe glue dots. And then I'm going to put a dimensional on this side. So we'll add a dimensional over here. And then we'll just add some adhesive kind of right there where, in between where it's a solid piece. Just like that. Now let's go ahead and bring in, and you might need to hold that just a little bit. And once again, it's a tip I shared last week. I could take my glue and try to add some more glue, but if I didn't add quite enough glue there, not quite enough adhesive, I can bring in my glue dots. And of course, I can just tear this off. When you use your glue dots, you don't have any, you've used all of these, you can just tear that off and throw that away. And so then I'm just going to put that right underneath on that lemon lolly. All right, and now let's go ahead and bring in our, make sure I say this right, gold twisted thread. And this gold twisted thread you will find in my online store, so it is an online exclusive. It is so pretty. It's a perfect name for it because the gold thread is twisted. So we'll make a little bow, and we'll just add that right here. So I do need another glue dot. And I think I'm going to take my take your pick tool, and I'm going to just twirl that in a little circle. And I'm going to put it right to the left of that opening in the label, because these labels could also be tags, and that's why those openings are there. And then I can add my bow. And now we need some embellishments. So I'm going to bring those hearts back in. And I think we will use the smaller ones. We'll put one right here. Pick that up. I don't know who decided that you needed like an odd number of embellishments. So, you know, 3 or 5 people do. We're going to put it like that. So here is the second card. We're using the same bundle. I just used a lemon lolly for the card's base, and I used that beautiful paper from the spring catalog. And here are our 3 cards. So I had the sample card that I didn't add any embellishments to. This card I did that technique of splatter before I added, and I think I like both this card and this card the best. I think I like adding the splatter before I add the label, but you can let me know which one that you like, whether you like the pink or the yellow card. It is time for barn chats. So time for barn chat. All right, I mentioned to you that I had some things going on in the Rustic Barn Card Studio, so I wanted to talk to you about that. First of all, I've teamed up with 3 other demonstrators, Sarah from Australia, Connie from Canada, Louise from the United Kingdom, and we're putting on the online global retreat. And today is the last day that you can sign up for the online global retreat. So midnight today is the last day, and there is a link in the description. We have 2 options: full retreat and then online access. So one, you get a retreat box with a lot of goodies and make and takes in the mail, and the other one you have access to all of the fun and the present demonstrations. You just do not receive a retreat box, and of course there's 2 different prices also. My monthly February card class, the last day to sign up for that is Friday, January the 31st. It is, you make 3 cards, so you'll get a kit to make 3 cards, and you get about $16 of product. Includes envelopes, a tutorial, and then I do my live video in February after I mail out the packets on February 11th. So you'll get a video to how to make them, plus you get the written tutorial. And porch pickup's $22 and ship to you is $28. Let me show you those cards. This is the monthly card class for February, but it's birthday, all about birthdays, easy and elegant birthday cards. And then we have a fun fold, so you make one of each of 3 cards. And if you'd like to take this, there's a link in the description where you can get more information. And my Rustic Ink Creation Club, it ships this week for January, and that means we are going to be using for February, we're going to be using the Delightful Wishes. And today I use the paper that goes with this bundle, but I didn't use this bundle. But I am going to be using this for February, and it has awesome dies. You can add on the stamp set or the dies if you don't have this bundle, or you can use whatever you have. So let me give you a little sneak peek for this club. Is you'll make 6 cards, 2 of each design, plus you receive about anywhere from $22 to $25 of product. Okay, so you've got some little sneak peek of the cards for February, Rustic Ink Creations, which is a subscription, and it's $44 a month, includes shipping. And if you stay 6 months consecutively, you get a $25 swag bag on your 6th month. And then the last thing, Stampin' Up! Is having a really great joining offer to become a member of Stampin' Up! And you pay $99 free shipping for your kit, and you can choose $125 worth of product, plus a choice of 2 Stampin' Right marker assortments. So you get this, option 1 is you get this stamp set, and you can choose 2 markers with, like, neutrals or subtles, whatever you want. And that's a $216 value. And then option 2 is $99 free shipping. You do pay tax on both of the options. And you still choose $125 worth of product, plus another additional $30 if you want option 2. And then after that, all your orders, you can save 20% off and even work up to saving a 25% discount. I would love for you to be part of the Rustic Barn Stampers. Reach out to me if you have any questions. All right. Well, again, leave any questions that you have, and I'll answer those next week. So the 31st of January, if you want to take my monthly card class to go, so you can pick it up here at my studio if you live close, or I ship those out. I ship them out on February 11th or by February 11th, and they're ready to be picked up on February 10th. 3 cards, and then I do a video, plus you'll get written tutorials and envelopes. And then my club, Rustic Ink Creations, we're going to be using the Delightful Wishes, and you'll make 6 cards, 2 of 3 designs, plus you'll receive between $22 and $25 of product. And that is a subscription, and more information is in this description. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today and crafting. I hope everyone is doing well and staying warm if you live where it's cold. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. I'm Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cards. Bye for now. Take care, and I'll see you soon.